Well, welcome back. It's another exciting lecture in the world of SolidWorks. We're going to be doing some work today on this. As of right now, this is what our bike looks like. We got one wheel on, we got a spring hanging out over here, we got another tire out here. This would be a terrible bike, not to mention that trying to sit on that thing, that sounds like a nightmare. But we have a lot to do to finish this bike in one aspect, and in another aspect we don't really have all that much. We're getting down to the end of the system, thankfully. So from here on out, we're going to have most of the bike done today, and then we'll start working on gears and pedals and all those fun things. Alright, let's get on it. So first thing we need to do in order to create this piece is we're going to have to extend up the frame a little bit and then put on a connector. Now it just uses a journal bearing on the front, so let me just open up. SolidWorks is angry. I mean, I probably should shut down some of my tabs, but don't be so unrealistic, SolidWorks. Gonna open up my main frame. We'll see if SolidWorks fails. I mean, it very well might. It's very possible that all of this is an endeavor in futility, but not today, SolidWorks, not today. So I need to take this profile right here, and I need to make it go up a little bit more. And I'll probably make it go up maybe another 6 inches, maybe another foot. In order to do that, I'm going to have to go into this line right here, which is present in the actual sweep. That's sketch 2. I'll go in and I'll edit this sketch. Now I'm going to zoom to normal, which means now I'm looking at this sketch and I don't have all the weird 3D stuff. I'm then going to draw a line, and it's going to be collinear with my existing line. I'm just going to draw it like this. You'll notice right here it's got the tangent line because all these two are together. I don't know why it's tangent, it should be collinear, but whatever. And then I'm just going to say this goes up maybe, well, you know what? I like 10 inches. We'll do that. It's fully defined, so I'll exit sketch. Stop and repair, because quite frankly it's this broke. Because it went one direction, it did not go the other direction. So I'll just change that to bidirectional, and now it's better. That no longer is normal. Plane 1 was set at the center line of that circle. Well, that needs to be fixed. So we'll have to edit the definition of plane 1. As much as SolidWorks is a lot of fun, it struggles. I guess we're still drawing it on the same plane. But as for the sketch, when you actually make the sketch for this, yeah, it's down there, which is where it should be. What this is wanting is it's probably wanting me to move that plane a little bit further back. So what I'll do is instead of defining it only by that plane, let's see if I can't go down here and also define it by, nope. Nope. Selected the wrong thing. So I'm going to select this face. Oh, that's an edge. It says edge, not face. select this face. There we go. Click parallel. Click on my second reference point. And over here, zoom in. I'm going to select this edge right there. Okay. And this says the current combination of constraints references are not valid. What happens if I just delete this, make it entirely in that plane? Well, it works. It's fully defined. May not exactly be what I was hoping to get out of this, but it is forced to be right in the middle right there, so why not? Well, there's my plane. My sketch is down here. Go into Boss Extrude, edit feature, and it says direction 1 could not. Oh, let's see, preview. Oop. Select a face. Up to surface. We'll pick this one. Oh, that's the direction. We'll pick that one. And you know what? I had trouble with going up to this surface. Let me see if I can do that again, because I might be able to. This is right now. It just goes right through it. Well, let me pick both of them. The preview, it says drawn straight into a line. Wish I could get rid of that line. That line's been the bane of my existence. I have to make it blind. Instead of 30 inches, let's try, maybe 15. Not the prettiest way of meshing this, but because I'm extruding straight into a line, that's the reason why I'm having a problem. If I created a surface that went right like that I could go to, I wouldn't have this problem, but quite frankly, I just don't care enough. So here, I've turned it to 18. You'll now see that the end cross-section is inside of this bar. It's not the best, but I'm basically forcing my machinists to do some fun work when they go to build that. I'm going to ignore that exists for now. Whoops. Okay, now I'm going to create, well, first of all, I'm going to have sweeping handlebars that go back like this to go to the person, but I'm going to have to create a journal bearing right there. And that journal bearing's got to mount right to the front of this. And that's kind of a problem. I mean, no big deal, right? Gonna have to create some reference geometry. Gonna have to create a plane. Gonna have to base it off of this surface right here. But this surface right here is not angled. So I have to make it a rotational angle. And instead of being 90 degrees, probably going to make it about, we'll make it West Coast chopper style. We'll make it 45. Okay, so it'll be 45 degrees from there. So that's nice. This is asking for a second reference in order to do this. Let's see if I can find a point somewhere around here. No, unfortunately, it's not so good. I'm gonna have to actually change this to a distance and have it. I'm gonna have to make two planes. One plane here that goes out about 3 inches. And then I'm going to have to rotate this plane about the z-axis. So not exactly the most fun thing, but it's what I'm gonna have to do in order to create an offset plane right there. The other option is I could create a separate part and mate it to here, but that doesn't sound like nearly as much fun to me. I like other things that are not doing it that way. So I'll go back and create another. Here, I'm going to need some kind of a point right here. And to do that, let's see if I can't create struggling. I'm going to just grab the point in the center here and extrude it out to here. Oh, oops. I should probably finish my drawing. So right now here, everything is hidden. I just draw that back out. It'll finish my drawing, add in hole location where it needed to be. Yeah. Let me see if I can't change up these features, because I don't like how that... I want them to end like perpendicular to the sketch. So let me see if there's a way. Keep normal constant. Nice. That looks terrible. Yeah, it really doesn't. Well, dang. So, it's unfortunate, but I'm actually just going to have to cut these two faces off just to make them more realistic. I'll start with this one. I'll deal with that back face when I go and work on the seat. So I'm going to cut this one off at about a 45-degree angle. So to do that, I am going to have to, first of all, I'm going to have to go into the sketch. And then I'm going to have to edit this sketch. So this was the sketch that I copied that shows just the profile. This gives me things to mate to, because things to mate with would have been a very weird way of finishing that sentence. I'm going to take a line just like I did for my other drawing, draw it from here, have it go up at this angle, escape, smart dimension it, make it 10 inches. Okay, exit sketch. So now I have a point that goes right in the center up there. I can select that point, which I'm going to need to do when I create my reference plane. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one, click angle, and say it needs to be 45 degrees. It's going to ask for a second reference, and what I'll pick for my second reference is that point right there. Oh, it doesn't like that. I almost feel bad, but not really. Well, maybe instead of that point, I'll try just picking this and make it perpendicular. And then I'll delete this one. I'll make it perpendicular, and then for my first reference, I'll have it be coincident with this point. So that was frustrating. But now, this is perpendicular to this shaft as drawn. I may need to create a second plane and move it back a couple inches. I'll probably have to do that. Not that I want to, but me. It's whatever. So reference geometry, plane. Based on this plane, I want it to be offset the other direction. And this only about 1 inch. Yeah, because I got to capture that. So do that. So now I have a plane that I can finally draw on. I'm just gonna chop that end off, because that's necessary. Oh, excuse me. And when I chop that line off, I'm going to basically be, I'll sketch. I'm going to use this one to chop it off. Idea of where it's at. SolidWorks is going to freak out. Whatever. I'm one of us too that get have anxiety problems. Not you too, SolidWorks. So go ahead and add a relation between. I'm gonna hover over this edge, pick this center point, pick the origin. I'm gonna make them horizontal. And you know what? I'll do the same thing for the vertical ones. So delete these points that are already in there. Go in, pick a midpoint, make them vertical, and we'll call that good. So now I'll throw a dimension on here, make this be like 24 inches wide, and sure, this will be 6 inches wide. So now it's fully defined. Exit sketch. Go back in features. It will do an extruded cut. And here, I'm going to be doing an extruded cut in 2 directions. First of all, direction 1, I'm going to cut this down about 1 inch. Okay, that captures that corner right there pretty well. It means that this line segment here is only about 9 inches from the center line of that hole to there, but it's fine with me. But then I'm going to pick it to direction B, and then just say through a wall, so it'll cut everything. Okay, so yay, nice. There's my plane. There's my sketch that I used to cut. That's a lot more clean of a cut now. It's actually perpendicular to that. We'll have to do the same thing over there when I build that, but whatever. I'm now going to create an axis on which I can draw. So my axis, I'll create a reference geometry axis. It'll be the intersection of 2 planes. I'm going to take when this plane intersects the front plane. Okay, and it'll define an axis by that intersection. Now this axis is going to be the center line of my journal bearing that I'm creating for the front of my bike. So I'm now going to draw again on this front plane, and we'll do a revolved boss base about that axis. And basically what we'll do here is, get my view normal to the plane again. Just going to draw a rectangle like this, and then I'll revolve that rectangle around this axis. So let's give some smart dimensions here. I want the inner diameter, I want that to be 1 inch. Okay, I want this width right here No! Want that width right there. We're going to make it pretty beefy. It's got to handle a lot of stress, so we'll make it about 1/2 inch. And then I want the journal bearing as a whole to be about, I don't know, 4 inches long. So, pretty beefy. You'll notice it's still not fully defined. I got some blue lines here. That's because if I grab onto this, if I grab onto this, I can drag it sideways. It doesn't know where to position it horizontally. I'm just going to go ahead and align it across the center with that point. Add relation. U, delete the line, and say vertical. Hit yes, and now sketch is fully defined. I'll go ahead and exit sketch. Okay, now go to features, and I'm going to do a revolved boss base. I'll just revolve this sketch profile. Oh, that was not the axis of revolution I wanted. That's the axis I wanted. We go 360 degrees. Let me zoom out, look at this a little bit more. Oh, it's weird. Well, it's about what I want. It does intersect this plane. I don't care enough to fix that. Go ahead and hit OK. And there we go. There is my front mount. Includes a connection for the front spokes of my bike. So now I gotta make that piece. So go ahead and do is I'm gonna go to File, New. Oh wait, I should probably save this. Usually a good design idea to save continuously. Now I'll go to File, New. We'll create a part, and I'm going to create that center axle that mounts right there. The handlebars will mount to the top and the bottom of, but that'll serve as the rotation point for my front mount. So this won't be too terrible. I'm going to go ahead and sketch on the right plane this time. Automatically zooms into the right plane. I'm just going to make this one a solid piece just because, you know what, why not? I'm not trying to make the best piece. Smart dimension, we'll have this be, I had that tube have an inner diameter of 1, so we'll do that. We're going to make this thing go up about 12 inches. So I will extruded boss base, pick 12 inches, hit enter, be good. Done. Now this isn't exactly everything. I'm going to need a little bit of a bearing surface. It's going to push on that bottom. It'll make a mate necessary so that I can actually mate them. But the idea is that as the bike pushes downward, it has a surface to push back against. This would probably be welded onto this. This may actually be cut straight out of this component. To do that, I have to create reference geometry or create a plane. It's going to be parallel to this. Flip the direction. We'll have it go down about 8 inches, so there's only 4 inches down below. That doesn't bother me at all. Hit yes, as it's fully defined. We'll go ahead and with that plane selected, hit sketch. We'll now zoom to view normal to this, and then I'm going to draw a circle, make it slightly larger. And that, smart dimension this circle, and this will be 1.5 inch of bearing surface around the outside, which is what we want because that's the same size as the other one. Then we're going to need this to be 2 inches in diameter. So that's 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1 inch in the middle. Go ahead and exit sketch. Yes, these two pieces intersect each other. Yes, in reality, I would probably have to cut a hole in this, slide it on there, and then weld them together. Or mill this all as one piece, which is what I'm planning on, so I don't need to have fix the intersection. I'm getting a little lazy at this point. Just want to be done. And I will have this surface be about 1/2 inch. It's pretty beefy. Click. I have merge results selected. Now I'll have 4 inches down here. I'll have 7.5 inches up here. Fine with that. Go ahead and hit yes. And now this is my component. Okay, I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to need to cut a hole here and a hole here in order to mount my handlebars to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the sketch menu, sketch, and I'll pick the front plane. Here, I'm going to draw 2 circles. Both of them are going to be in line with the origin because they're both in the center of this. And I will have to make sure that I set that constraint at some point. I'll do that now, actually. I don't have anything selected. Pick this point, add relation. Oop, got to pan over. Got my object tree in the way. Pick these two, make them horizontal, hit yes. Go ahead and add another relation. Deselect that point, scroll over, and select this point, and make those horizontal, and hit yes. Okay, then I'm going to add one more relation. It's because I want these to be the same bolt size. So I'll add relation, delete both of these points out of here, select edge, and make them equal. I'll just make it a little simpler when I go to, I'll only have to define the diameter of one of them. Go ahead, smart dimension 1. I want to make this be about a 0.5 inch diameter bolt, which is, it's pretty big, but since this is a solid element, that should be fine. Now I don't have the positions relative to this end defined at all, so with this set, I'm going to click this edge, and then I'm going to click this point, and we'll have this be offset 1 inch, and we'll have this one be offset from this edge 1 inch. Okay, now that should give us enough space that we can continue to do this. Now, one of the things I'm going to want actually is I want to have this be 2 bolts. Well, no, I guess 1 bolt on top and bottom will be fine. We'll be fine. I'm just going to go ahead and exit sketch. We'll do a feature, extruded cut, both sides, through all, and call it good. And you'll see there's 2 holes, go all the way through the material, and this is our bearing piece. So go ahead and save this. This will be the center bearing. I'm going to create a new folder and call this the front assembly. Okay, and we'll call this front axle. Hit save. And now I need to make 2 handlebars. And the 2 handlebars are basically just going to swoop out, connect to this. This is the top up here. And then go down and connect to the bottom down here. They'll be spaced out a little bit from it so that it acts as one assembly. It'll just basically be the ability to turn and grab this. Then the front handlebars will continue to go downward where they will reach out and connect to the wheel. So that's our goal here. This is going to be the structural member that actually carries our front handlebar, but the front handlebars themselves are going to be directly connected to the wheels. Because why not? 3-point arc. This one, we'll pick a point here, pick a point here, and notice it doesn't really like that. I should have picked the left side of it first. So it's drawing this arc according to how this is set up, where 1 was supposed to be on the left side, 2 was supposed to be on the right side, 3 was supposed to be in the middle. I did not do that at all. I've never been good at drawing arcs. That's why I take circles, and I got them. So, all right. So we want the other end of this to be over here, second end of it to be right here, and the third end defines whatever. Okay. Now, first thing I always do when I go into this is I do want this to be very swooping. So I'm going to add a relation between this arc and this line, and this arc, and I want them to be tangent. That just forces it to be a little bit more swooping. Yeah. So, okay, I'll go ahead and yes, I'm smart to mention this line. Well, this radius. It's about 6 inches right now. 6 inches is not terrible for an arc, but I'm probably gonna actually want this to be about 12. Yeah, swoopy. This distance right here, I'm probably gonna have this be about 32 inches. So I'll go down. That's gonna be where it connects to the wheel. This is going to be where it goes up, and then I'll have a handlebar that comes out right here. So draw a line, connect it here. I'll have it be horizontal just to keep it easy. Then we'll smart dimension this and make it be, I don't know, 8 inches. Be a comfortable little extension for a handlebar. I'm getting kind of lazy here in my design. I'm just going to go ahead and add a relation between these two, make them tangent. Which also isn't the best idea, but you'll notice it fixes the entire design. Handlebars are very, very plain. Okay, so now I've got my profile of the tube that I want to bend for that. So now my next drawing is I need to actually create I need to create a circle that I'm going to use to extrude down the end there. And here I do not have, if I go look at my my planes here, when I go to sketch, exit sketch. When I go to sketch, you'll notice that like my front plane is along the center line here. So I'll probably want to start the sketch at the bottom down here, but I'm probably going to want to sketch on the top plane right at that point, which is the center. So I'll go ahead and zoom into the top here, and then I'll just make my standard 1-inch tube with a 1/4 inch outside. So one-inch tube with 0.25-inch wall thickness. Exit sketch, and it's fully defined. And now I'll do a feature swept boss base. I got sketch 2. I'll pick sketch 1, and then I'm going to pick bidirectional because it'll just go up and down both sides. So kind of do it right in the middle. So now when I zoom out and look at it, I have my tube, and that's going to be my handlebar. It's not pretty, but I am for functionality, and I'll let somebody else handle pretty. Okay, we're going to have to create a connection point down here for the wheel. We're going to have to cut those holes that we put in. If I go back to my front axle, we have these 2 holes here that we're going to need to put in this. I want to check and see where these are, or how far apart they are. So I'll go into, actually I'm gonna go ahead and edit this sketch. No, edit sketch. I'll get normal to this plane. And I'm going to delete this whole dimension here and replace it with a dimension between the 2 centers of the hole, which is 10 inches. Doesn't really change anything about this drawing, but here now, if I do need to change the distance between them, I'll just directly change that number. And I'll have to be careful that it doesn't go out too far. But whatever, it is what it is. So I'll exit sketch, just redefines it as 10 inches apart instead of 1 inch apart. Hit save, go back into my part 2, and now I have to create 2 holes that are about 10 inches apart. So one of my holes I'm going to create here, and the other hole I'm going to move way down here. So I need to draw a hole, and it's going to have to be on the front plane. I think it needs to be on the front plane. I'll check. Yep, it's got to be on the front plane. And then I'll just have it go through all. So sketch, give me that front plane, and draw a circle right at the origin. Smart dimension it. I think we picked a 1/2 inch. 0.5 the diameter, so a lot smaller. It's nice. Exit sketch because that's all we need. We have 2 holes, but I'm just going to copy it down. We'll do an extruded cut. I'll have it go through all both because I love that. And yes, so there's my hole. There's my new hole. Now I'm going to do a linear pattern. I've got cut extrude 1. I'll click linear pattern, and this will allow me to just cut down this face right here. So with direction, see if I can pick this. I cannot, you know. Let's see if maybe I can't pick the front and the right plane. In order to define my direction.